ANC Youth League not accepting Malima's suspension. Pakistan promises full probe into airline crash. With your news update, I'm Kensani Maranele. The ANC Youth League will not accept the suspension of its leader, Julius Malema, and only the League's Special National General Council will have the power to enforce the ruling party's suspension of Malema. That's according to Secretary General Sindiso Magaqa when he addressed delegates attending a provincial congress in Polokwane. Delegates got upset when they realized Malema would not address them. Earlier, the ANC's Disciplinary Committee of Appeals upheld Malema's suspension, saying he's not allowed to attend or address any of the party's meetings. Magaqa says they are still in the dark about this decision. The Johannesburg traffic officer who was killed allegedly at the hands of a minibus taxi driver has been identified as 31-year-old Ravelino Solomon. The young man was gunned down at Hillbrow yesterday, shortly after he and his colleagues from the Taxi Conflicts Unit of Gauteng's Community Safety Department stopped an unroadworthy taxi from operating. The taxi driver waited until the officers were inside their vehicle and then allegedly started firing at the back of the car. SABC senior specialist reporter Melanie Moses has the story.
It's another senseless killing. The officers stopped the taxi and removed the vehicle's disc, preventing it from operating because the vehicle was unroadworthy. They got into their vehicle and were ready to drive off. But then, the unexpected. The taxi driver allegedly pulled out his gun and began firing at the back of the car, hitting a traffic officer sitting in the back seat. The officer was wounded and died on arrival at hospital. The taxi driver ran into a nearby flat, but was later arrested. His 9mm pistol was also confiscated. The traffic officer was just 31 years old and leaves behind a 5-month-old baby. Melanie Moses, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Democratic Alliance leader Helen Zille is later this afternoon expected to address the party's provincial elective congress in Potchefstroom, Northwest. The current provincial leader, Chris Hatting, is facing stiff competition from Karim Visser. Visser is the former chairperson of the Sannieshof Ratepayers Association and is a councillor in the Tswaying municipality in Dillareeville. Pakistani officials today promised a full investigation into the crash of a domestic flight that killed 127 people, saying they were examining all possibilities from a technical fault to the age of the Boeing 737 to sabotage. Grieving relatives claiming the remains of loved ones at a hospital expressed grief and anger over the crash in a storm as the plane approached Islamabad on a flight from Karachi, Pakistan's commercial hub. Armed police kept media out of the Institute of Medical Sciences in the capital, where the remains are stored.